Yeah, well, just now we're having a little teleconference with Dave Whitney and Bill Anderson out in California. So we have to go with the electronics for the moment, and perhaps in the next video we do, we'll improve the technology. But right now we got to say hello and run through a little bit of this, see how it works.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I was asking you a question, Dave, about your beginnings.
Right.
And do you, once you run through that?
Yeah. I think I told you I started playing trumpet in the 4th grade. They offered it in the school system. As I remember, a couple of fellas came from one of the local music shops, and they demonstrated the brass instruments. And I liked the trumpet. My dad thought it'd be a good fit, so they rented a trumpet for a month to see if I'd take to it. And that's how it all started. I just kept at it.
Yeah, you mentioned Ray Smith. You were listening to Ray Smith on the radio?
Yes, that came around the same time. I guess probably I was 9, 10 years old. I discovered his program. Back then he was on Framingham radio. It was called WKOX. And I was quite intrigued by all this stuff he was playing. I'd heard a little bit of jazz, but he really opened things up. I heard people like Jelly Roll Morton, early Louis Armstrong, Muggsy Spanier, Bunny Berrigan, of course Bix Beiderbecke, who I really got into. So that did a lot for showing me different styles of jazz that I eventually got into. And then, as you know, years later, I wound up working with Ray in that band, the Yankee Rhythm Kings. And that's a little later.
Yeah, how much? See, now, you said the Yankee Rhythm Kings was 74, right?
That's when the band first started, yeah. We had quite a few months of just rehearsing, and then we finally played a gig in 75. And from that time on, we were pretty busy.
Oh, just in time for the bicentennial.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did a bunch of those things.
Yeah. You were every day. You were working down in Concord Music Store with Paul Byam.
Yeah, and that was a good place for contacts because I met Reggie, I met Chuck, Dick Frenier, James Lee, and eventually Sandy. All these people came into the music shop. We started talking music, and I started going down the inn, sitting in with Reggie, and that was a great education, learning tunes from him. And then I got to know some of that other Concord gang, Chick Mayo.
Yeah. But what about Turk Murphy? Your father went over into the Armory and took pictures of Turk Murphy.
Yeah, so, you know where he was, Bill? That same weekend, that was that weekend Sandy booked him. He did a concert at Jordan Hall in Boston, and my dad took me and my mom in, and he took some photographs. So that's where I heard Turk. He had a good band, as he always did, and he had a female singer named Pat Yankee who was good, did the Red Hot Mama stuff. So that was quite an education, hearing Turk and his band, because they did strictly old traditional jazz.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the rudiments of your beginning. Concord Main Street.
That was probably about 1968, right in there. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like to play with Reggie?
Oh, that was a lot of fun because, you yourself know Reggie. He was a fun guy, and he would just keep playing. He'd go from one tune to another. I knew some of the Fats Waller stuff, which he was big on, but he had some tunes I wasn't familiar with, so I learned a lot. And as you know, Reggie, he had a great caustic sense of humor. He would reel off on some of the barflies or the waitress or Frank, the guy with the bones. So he was quite a curmudgeon, but he was a good-humored curmudgeon.
Well, see, Reggie, he got his start in Boston somewhere at the Pulse Mall.
He played at a place called the Savoy,
Oh, the Savoy.
Played intermission piano. This would probably be like the early 50s. And they used to have people like Bob Wilbur and Edmund Hall, Bobby Hackett. I don't think they could get Louis. He was a little bit too big a name, but they had a lot of great jazz guys. And Reggie played intermission, and I'm sure he got to know a lot of those guys too, because as you know, he was a very fine pianist himself.
Yeah. What do you think the years were that he started playing there?
I'm going to guess like probably early 50s, because Reggie was a physicist too, and he had been involved in a lot of that stuff during World War II. You know, the H-bombs and everything. So I think he got sick of all that and just got into music.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good reason to get into music.
Yeah.
So you picked up on him, kind of like a father figure, huh? Not a father figure, but like a musician, co-musician.
Yeah, maybe as far as music goes, yeah, I wouldn't want to emulate Reggie's off the stand habits, but well, you knew him; he was a good guy, though.
But it was like you grew up in Billerica and you came down to Concord and you found all these people that were into jazz. Is it like a special place then, or?
Yeah, it seemed to be because I was in the high school band in Billerica, and I started a little combo right after high school. We just played, VFWs and weddings and anniversaries. We weren't doing too much jazz, although I was into it. And then I found all these people over in Concord when I did the music shop, and it gave me a chance to get more into pure jazz. And when I met up with Bob Connors and he started that band, that was real traditional jazz. So once again, I learned a lot of stuff that I had never played before.
Yeah, that was quite a band. Yankee Rhythm Kings.
Yeah, he was really into that. First the King Oliver band that had Louis, two cornets, and then Lou Waters had the same thing with two cornets. It was him and Bob Scobie, and Turk Murphy was the trombonist in that band. That was before Turk went on his own. So, Bob was really into that school of music, that real traditional jazz.
Yeah, did you ever play with Turk Murphy? You didn't play with.
No, I never got to. No, closest I got was just seeing him at the concert. Yeah, and I had quite a few of his records. I learned a lot of records, learned a lot of tunes from listening to Turk albums. He did just about everything under the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. I went out to San Francisco and met Tim Smith at Turk's Earthquake Magoons.
That's right. Yeah, he had that club for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what happened to it. I guess everyone just died, right?
I think it got too much for Turk to handle. I know in later years he was like at the Fairmont Hotel. They had a room downstairs for him. So he still played in San Francisco. But I guess the running that place, I guess, was a lot of responsibility. That's what happens when a musician tries to be a businessman.
Yeah. So did you ever get into the the band that played out at here I am, my mental.
Oh, the Black Eagles?
The Black Eagle Jazz Band. Weren't they the preeminent Boston group?
Yeah, they kind of predated the Yankee Rhythm Kings. The funny thing is I've been filling in with them a lot recently, but when they were in their heyday, I didn't play with them a heck of a lot. Maybe once in a blue moon. Tony Pringle, the leader, played cornet. And once in a while, I'd substitute for him, but not a heck of a lot. Yeah, they were very successful. They're still together. Billy Novik's the leader of the band now. A lot of the original guys are gone. I think there's just one original, the trombonist. But he's keeping it going. It's still a good band.
Yeah, there's always room for bands in Boston. Boston's likes the jazz band, don't they?
Yeah, and they had kind of like a special feature. All those guys were professional guys. Like Eli Newberger was a pediatrician, and Bob Pillsbury was a psychologist, and Tony Pringle was a computer guy. So they all had big jobs. So it was kind of a novelty. And they still managed to do a lot of playing and jazz festivals.
Well,
I don't know how they kept everything going.
yeah. Well, that famous Concord banjo player worked for the USPS. You know who?
Oh, Chick Mayo.
Chick Mayo.
Yeah, he was a great character. Nice guy.
Yeah, he was
He
a
had
great
nice
character.
singing voice.
Yeah, he had one famous song. I think McCone recorded it. And my mind is going out again.
Was that one of the World War One tunes?
There's a sweetest
Oh,
girl
yeah.
I know with.
It's a long way to Tipperary.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
had this deep baritone voice. To the sweetest gal I know.
yeah. So you write your own music, don't you? Is it all? I mean, you did an album, right?
Yeah, I don't have any talent as a writer.
Yeah.
I have a lot of band arrangements, with my big band, but I don't have that talent. I wish I could, but I have a lot of respect for guys that can write arrangements. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, that shoots that one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did you, when you recorded that record, was everything copyrighted to you, or was it? How does it work?
Oh, that Somebody Thinks You're Wonderful album?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was strictly a homemade project. I recorded it locally in Lincoln, and I put the money into it, and I, found a place that would press it for you. They charge you and they press the album. So it was all my little production.
And you bought the songs? You bought the songs from some people, or?
No, they're all standards. I had to put down, like who wrote them, and if it was ASCAP or whatever. I didn't pay any royalties, so I hope nobody will be listening to this.
There you are. That's the way I operated in my realm.
A lot of guys that made their own albums didn't do that. There were a couple guys I know that
Yes.
pay all the royalties and things.
So what is? You're working with a big band now, but what's the since I checked out of the Concord scenario after '77, I lost track of everything. And
Yeah, well, the big band didn't come till later. Although I've had it for a long time, it's since '89.
'89, really?
Yeah, I was working with this other band leader named Chris Powers, and when he passed on, his family gave me the library. They wanted somebody to keep it going, and I was delighted to get it. And I have other arrangements too, but I still have a lot of Chris's library. And we haven't done a heck of a lot since COVID, but nobody has really. So, but
Yeah.
I still rehearse it. We put one CD out. We recorded it over at Ruth Schwab's house in Concord. So there's another Concord connection.
Oh, I don't even know that guy. But who you played with a lot of guys, a lot of
Oh,
dudes.
Yeah, I had.
Can you run through some of your most memorable guys?
You mean famous guys or just guys from Boston?
Yeah, just guys you really enjoyed playing with, and
Okay. Well, I got to play with Joe Venuti once, the violinist, because he
Joe
was with Bix and Paul Whiteman, and he's the guy that was the infamous Practical Joker. I was down at Sandy's in Beverly, and Sandy talked him into letting me play a few tunes. And I thought that maybe Joe would, play a joke on me, do some prank on me. But he was nice. He was a nice guy. We played a few tunes, and he was very encouraging. But there are a lot of Joe Venuti stories out there. He was quite a character.
yeah.
Got to play with Bob Wilbur. He was a real gentleman and a wonderful player.
Bob Wilbur, piano player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob had his clarinet, saxophone. Then through Jack Curran, he had me guest with a lot of people like, Scott Hamilton, Dave McKenna. Let's see, who else? I'm spacing out on some of them, but I got to work with some good guys, some guys that were fairly famous in the business. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
You never know. You never know, right?
Yeah.
But how about you didn't remember Molly Malone?
Yeah, I played with her a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
She passed on, unfortunately. I think last year. It
Uh,
wasn't COVID. I think she might have been a heart attack or pneumonia, but yeah, it was too bad. She was still coming around a little bit and singing, but she had kind of stopped doing it full time. But
oh.
yeah, we did a few gigs with her at Riles in Cambridge.
Well, who was that? Johnny. You lost Johnny.
Oh yes, yeah. He was the piano player in the Yankee Rhythm Kings, and he did that album with me. He was only 28 years old when he died. I think it was pneumonia, but I don't think he took very good care of himself. He was probably living in a cheap room somewhere, and he caught cold. Very sad. He had a lot of talent too, and he did a good job with the Rhythm Kings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing we know, Dave, is that it goes on.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm playing tomorrow. It's at an assisted living place, but it'll be kind of fun because there'll be a woman there whose son used to play in my band, and he's going to be there. We go back to like high school bands, so that'll be kind of fun. It's just an hour concert. I'm playing with a little trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are your plans for the big band? I guess, or are you just gonna keep playing your own combo, or?
Yeah, well, I'm still doing a few small group things here and there. The big band before the COVID thing, I was able to do a couple concerts a year. A couple places had the band play. One was Bemis Hall out in Lincoln. We played at Sherborne Inn quite a bit. Used to do a thing at a place called Chianti's in Beverly. But since the COVID thing, it's really quieted down. But I have been doing a couple of rehearsals because I want to keep it going. And maybe as things pick up a little bit, we'll get to do another gig with the big band.
Yeah, this COVID thing really wrecked our lives, didn't it?
It did, and it took a lot out of the music business. There's still a lot of gigs that aren't coming that we used to do all the time. It's still kind of on hold. But I am starting to do a few things here and there. And, yeah, I did a thing with Craig Ball a couple of weeks ago.
Dave Whitney.
Yes.
You can blow some horn. Can you blow a horn? Can you blow?
Want to hear a little trumpet? Let's see what happens.
What do you got?
Well, let's see. Here's one Reggie used to like. Old Louis Armstrong thing called Savoy Blues. And of course, Reggie liked that because he played at the Savoy in Boston.
Yeah.
So that was on his album. Remember Reg Phillips' Wales All Yellow?
Reason is, how about you used to play for my daughter?
Yeah. You have that video there, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what you played, but
I think it was probably just something like a Brahms lullaby, maybe.
Yeah. Can you play over to the your right hand side?
Right. Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. I think that the horn mutes the sound,
Oh,
so it doesn't really a good idea.
that's all right.
But we can try it again sometime.
Yeah, oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you miss the most about your career?
You mean since the COVID thing?
Well, forget about COVID. That's a hoax.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, I think probably there was a time period there, maybe oh, I'd say from the mid 70s. No, let's call it late 70s, into the 80s and 90s when I was doing a lot of work and a lot of different things. And yeah, that'd be a period I'd like to revisit if it ever came back. 'Cause I was working a good 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, but a lot of interesting jobs. Work with a lot of different people. Some nights would be traditional jazz, other nights more swing or standards or backing up a singer. So a lot of variety.
Yeah, I remember when I was looking at my files of videos that I would find you and just suddenly find you somewhere playing at the country club or someplace like that.
Yeah. And there was a period there, I think you must have got me playing Bourbon Street Parade with James Lee Meadows about 10 times.
Oh, right. The James Lee Meadows. Yeah, you played it recorded it about 10 times.
Yeah.
I think, and then you played at the Elks Club for the Elks Club Canadian hockey bus trip.
Yeah.
And then you ended up on top of James Lee Meadows. No, I don't know. I think you were on top of James Lee Meadows' car, but
Yeah, I don't know how he talked me into that, because in those days I used to drink a little beer once in a while, but I probably got easily persuaded to try it.
Yeah.
So I was a lot younger than too.
That had nothing to do with the time that you ended up on the Embattled Farmers pedestal at the Old North Bridge.
No, that was your idea.
Oh, was it my idea?
I think so, yeah.
Jeez.
And you got James Lee too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why he wasn't there, but anyway, it's been a long time. We did a lot of things together, and more things that you can't remember them all. There's so many things. We're looking at 40 years. 40 years.
Yeah. So, some of these things actually go back 50 with me.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. But yeah, at least 40 for a lot of these things, I did, and you promoted, and
Yeah, the Old Yeller used to be in my studio, and I somehow salvaged it when Sandy McCone lost his studio, and one night we were playing party, took a break, and Billy Keogh came running into the room from 2 rooms over as fast as he could and jumped up and kicked the Old Yeller right in the teeth, wrecked it. I think the piano fell over and hit the window, and that was the day, But Willie Keogh, he was one of the players.
Yeah, he was quite a character.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I started recording you before I had, a reasonable piece of equipment to record you. I was using a Kodak sound movie cameras, which sometimes didn't work and sometimes worked badly and sometimes came through, but they were never really, good.
Yeah. Well, hey, now everybody's doing everything on their phone, so who would have known,
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. The phone is amazing. In fact, I do a lot of studio work on my phone, copying and things like that. But anyway, well, I don't want to go on forever, but maybe we can do this again after we check out the quality of this tape.
See how it works out, and I'm sure Jody will let me use the phone again, and we can try it again.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Dave.
Okay, Bill, and enjoyed it, and let me know how it works. If everything looked good, we can just do part 2.
Yeah, or 3 or 4.
Yeah, sure, whatever you want.
Maybe I can get some more one of the problems is the sound governor pumps down on when it hears your horn. It makes it quieter and quieter.
Let me just try one other thing. I'll stick a mute in and see if that makes any difference. Is that a little better?
No.
Okay.
But
the mute doesn't matter.
But it's sweet seeing you play, Dave. I love you, and I love the way you play. You gave us some really good times.
Thanks. I think we're going to run out again, so I better sign off.
Okay. I'll talk to you later. Okay?
Okay, Bill. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.